Welcome to Mom Enough Live. I'm Erin Erickson here with my mom, Marty, and we're going to be talking about affordable internet for families today. And I know this is a really important issue because so much of our lives are dependent on having that internet connection and being able to access healthcare or go to school or even do our jobs. And so for many families, internet is really out of reach. And we're so excited today to have Stacey Nelson-Kumar, who serves as Director of Community Impact for Comcast Twin Cities region, where she's responsible for managing community partnerships and charitable giving in an effort to bridge the digital divide. And we're so thrilled to have her here today to teach all of us how we might be able to access affordable or even free internet for our families or for families that we know, or perhaps families that you serve in your role as an educator or in any other field where you're interacting with families who might benefit from these services. So thank you so much for joining us, Stacey.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm glad to be back.
Well, we're thrilled to have you back. You always provide so much rich information and helpful information for the families that Mom Enough is serving. And so we're so grateful to have you.
Well, I echo that, Stacey. It's always good to have you with us. And of course, we're so grateful for the support of Comcast, who has been a supporting partner of Mom Enough, doing really good work together for our communities. I know that, excuse me, we've talked to Comcast in the past about digital equity and its Internet Essentials program. And I wonder if you can tell us what's new with these efforts.
Absolutely. Thank you. So nothing has changed in terms of Comcast's commitment to digital equity. It's something we still take very seriously. And through our Internet Essentials program, we've been working on that issue for over 10 years. But there have been some really exciting enhancements, even since the pandemic started, but even more recently that I'm excited to share. So with regard to the Internet Essentials program in particular, I would say it just keeps getting better and better. The speeds are increasing. The cost has stayed the exact same at $10 a month. The qualifications for the program have increased. So basically, a program that used to be just for families with children receiving free and reduced lunch is now available to families that are receiving any type of federal assistance. So the eligibility has expanded, the speed has expanded, the strength of the service has expanded, which is all very good, and even better, the price has not. The price has stayed the same, and I think that sometimes is a something people might not expect, but it has stayed the same for the last 10 years. One thing we've done as well, though, is we've actually expanded the tier of service. So there are some additional services that now can be accessed through Internet Essentials for additional costs. So we've got a couple of different options now within the Internet Essentials portfolio, but the core program remains the same at $10.
Wow, that's incredible that you've been able to do that for so many years. And I know that's a reflection of Comcast's commitment to bridging the digital divide and really ensuring that families have the access to internet that they need. And so, while I know my internet bill has continued to go up over that time, I appreciate that the Internet Essentials has continued to stay. I mean, I'm saying for everybody, all internet services providers, especially with the pandemic when people needed higher levels, it's like, oh, suddenly we have 5 people using the internet every day. We had to bump that up a tier. So it's like, here we are, we're paying more. But it's so great that families who need these services can continue to access them for the same price. So I know many of us have heard about either in the paper, or maybe you've listened to a Mom Enough podcast or seen information about the Affordable Connectivity Program. I would love if you could tell us a little bit about that program and how it came to be.
Absolutely. So Affordable Connectivity Program is one of those newer things, although it's not a Comcast specific program. It's really a benefit from the federal government as part of some of the stimulus funding that came out of the pandemic to really bridge that divide. It's exactly designed to help families access internet service at home. So it's basically a $30 benefit per month to cover the cost of connectivity. And so the most common way is for internet service, but it also applies to mobile services. So this is an incredible benefit There are qualifying factors and a couple of steps to verify that eligibility through the federal government website. But then those benefits, or that $30 benefit, can be applied to any service provider. So when we talk about Internet Essentials, basically it makes it free because it's $30. Internet Essentials is $9.95. So actually you could pair up internet service through Internet Essentials and also maybe get a mobile service and use the $30, and both would be covered completely at no cost for the family every month. But I do want to stress that it's not just Comcast that's partnering with the government on this program. It's just a really important benefit that we find not many people know about. So it came about, to be helpful, but we're really working hard to spread the word about its availability because a lot of families don't realize they're eligible for it, and they're, basically, leaving some money on the table that could really help. They could put those dollars towards something completely different and have their internet service covered completely.
Wow.
That's really significant. And I think just such an important message to get out. There's so many families who qualify who don't know about this, as you said. And we'll be, of course, talking about what families can do to apply and a little more about the eligibility requirements in a moment. But I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about how the Affordable Connectivity Program can benefit Comcast customers specifically. And you've said that it benefits all providers, users of all providers, but specifically with Comcast, is there more that you can say about how it would benefit your customers?
Yes, absolutely, because it can be applied, like I mentioned, to any type of service. So if there's a Comcast customer that is eligible for the Affordable Connectivity Program, then they can go and access the benefit that then gets applied directly to their bill. So it takes $30 off. It's like a $30 of free service every month. So that's the biggest benefit. But I think what that really does is enable families to assess their needs and maybe be able to get that faster speed, like you mentioned, Erin, because they do have more people in the household accessing service at one time. But that benefit helps offset the total cost. So the actual out-of-pocket dollars remain the same or go down. I mean, that's what we're stressing for sure, the opportunity to get very high quality service for free because of the $30 benefit. But if a family finds that they need a higher tier and want to get gig speed, which we can certainly offer, they can still utilize that $30 benefit to come off the total bill for the gig speed. So there's lots of ways to apply that to the variety of products and services we have. I mentioned, something that's pretty exciting is the fact that they did expand the benefit to apply to mobile services. And so again, Comcast is not the only partner in this, but our mobile program, you can pair internet. If you're a Comcast internet customer, you're eligible for Xfinity Mobile. And with mobile and internet together, you can basically package that up for $0 once the benefit is applied. And that can be unlimited data on a mobile plan and high-speed internet to serve an entire family with their, like you said, Erin, healthcare access, schooling, job search, working from home. We know all of those things are so necessary for every family. So that's one of the reasons we're so committed, is we know it's important for every family to have that, regardless of their income. And so here are the ways that everyone can truly access it.
That's so fantastic. As a clinician who does mostly, I do 100% virtual practice, and I have patients on their phones. Maybe they pop out of work and over their lunch break and sit in their car on their mobile device to do their visit. And so it's really important, especially with mobile phones. I mean, when I was growing up, we didn't have cell phones. But now that we do, and we've become so dependent on being able to access services and things through our phones, it's so great that that's covered, because I know for patients who have been, maybe they've had a job loss or a situation where they've had a significant loss of income, the phone is often one of the first things they can't pay for. You've got to start to prioritize things like food and shelter. And so it's so great that this program is also covering that, because I think that's essential for people to be able to access services they need, or emergency services, or other kinds of things that they need to stay connected to their communities and to the global world. So it's really great to hear that.
And can I just add something too that, we see that oftentimes if a family doesn't have internet, they are utilizing their cell phones almost exclusively. And we all know how you can surpass a data limit very quickly and not even realize it. And then you're paying for it, afterwards without having, had any plan for that. And so that's just something else we emphasize is with this affordable connectivity program benefit and some of the different service packages that are out there, that a family can avoid that. It doesn't have to be an either or. It can be both, and then with the cost covered, there aren't any of those surprises when when you see a family that has to rely on the phone. They don't have to do that anymore. They have that phone and they have internet at home and can utilize both accordingly. So it really is a cost saver.
Oh, that's so great. Well, can you tell us, I think I know the answer to this, but tell us a bit more about why Comcast is part of this program.
Well, I mentioned earlier, digital equity has been a focus of ours for over a decade. It's something we're really proud of and continue to make additional commitments to. We recently launched an initiative called Project Up that is our commitment of $1 billion over the next 10 years to help bridge that divide. We know in our 10 years of experience, though, that it's much more than just service and a computer, right? And so we're continuing to work and find out what barriers there may be for families that aren't still connected for whatever reason. We hear a lot about access being an issue, and we know, at least in our service areas, we're not the only provider. There are lots of providers. So we know access is there. Devices are a different issue. So we've worked with partners to find out how people can get the devices that they need, whether it's a laptop or a desktop or a tablet. We know a lot of schools use tablets. So making sure the family has that equipment resource. But then it's really diving deeper and understanding what the other barriers will be. One of them is cost. We know that comes up a lot, and it's a very real barrier. And so with Internet Essentials being so affordable, and then with the Affordable Connectivity Program, that takes away that barrier. So Comcast is really committed to figuring out what the issues are. We continue to dive deeper so that we can make sure every family is connected. I'll tell you what we see now is the need for digital navigators. That's the term that's come out. It might still need to be refined, but it's really someone who can help identify with the family what they need and how they can get there. So oftentimes what we hear is that if a family hasn't been connected, it's overwhelming. Where do I start, right? I've got this computer. I'm not sure exactly how to hook it up. And then what do I do? How do I access my kids' school records? How do I go online and stay safe? Like, I hear lots of stories. So the digital navigation is something we're also really interested in exploring and building out so that we know the families have the hands-on support to help them get connected.
Oh, that's so great. Sometimes I feel like I need a navigator for so many things. I'm grateful that I have my kids who seem to know like way more. That, like, if I'm on my phone or something, they'll often be like, "Oh, Mom, what do you do? All you have to do is this. It's just right here." And I'm constantly amazed at, wow, these devices and what's out there. There's so much more than we realize. And so having a navigator is so helpful, really, for anything. I think it's a great new role. And I think it's so fascinating because we always hear, I have 2 kids who are graduating high school, and everybody's always saying, 60% of these kids are going to have jobs that aren't even around right now. Right. So, this is a perfect example of that. That would be a really fulfilling role to help people navigate this process and meet their needs as a family, and also meet their needs from a financial standpoint, finding the right program that meets their ability to pay. And with the new program of the Affordable Connectivity, the ACP, or Affordable Connectivity Program, I think that's really going to make a huge difference for families.
I think it will. And I would just add that we know that there are a lot of programs that require the navigators, but just the exposure, right, that internet provides to families and to the youth, that's helping the entire economy set up for the future, right? As you mentioned, with the jobs not even being identified, what we want to make sure is that the future workforce is ready to understand, ready to learn, ready to be challenged. But all of that really comes from that internet access, just having the opportunity to explore.
Well,
Sorry,
yeah.
Marty, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, no,
I
it's
get
really
I get a
great.
little passionate, right?
I love it. It makes so much sense. Well, and I just think about, today young people can easily find out about other programs through the internet. So I think the internet has made so much information accessible to us. I mean, when I was in high school, we used to have to like send a letter or call if you saw something in the paper about a program. And now, the kids will be like, oh, there's this really cool summer program on this. And where'd you hear about that? I saw it online, so I think it's really
Exactly.
cool that young people and parents and adults are able to find these great services and programs through the internet, and having that connection is the only way to be able to do that. So that's really
Exactly
cool.
right. Exactly.
Well, amen to all of that. But what I was going to say, Stacey, is we seniors, like my husband and I, really need navigators, and I'm just aware of that every day. I run this online business that Aaron and I do with Mom Enough, and so I've had to learn a lot. But I tell you. My husband just practically weeps when he has to do anything out of the ordinary. So we've lost Stacey.
We've lost Stacey, but she's rejoined. I'm not sure what happened, but here she is again.
Okay.
So hopefully here she is. So
I'm sorry about that. I could
okay.
hear you, but obviously couldn't see you or wasn't seen. So sorry about
Well,
that.
You didn't miss a thing.
This is just another part of the joys of technology, right?
Right.
All the more
Right.
reason to have a navigator. So, thank you.
Let me ask you the big question, and I think this is what our listeners especially need to hear. Who qualifies and how do people apply and get more information about this? Because we know there are lots of people out there who are watching now or who will watch later when this recording is available on your website, our website, and Facebook. And so what can people do right now?
Right. So so you actually have 3 questions in there, right? Who applies and how do they find out more, and then how do they get signed up? But really, in terms of the eligibility, it's very similar to Internet Essentials when it comes to if there's some type of federal assistance that's being provided to the family, they very likely qualify for the ACP benefit. So that's kind of the general guidance we give. Is there's a lot of more detail that can be found about that eligibility. But if there's some participation in HUD, Medicaid, free and reduced lunch, any of those types of programs, then ACP is probably very likely accessible to that family. The best place to learn, and of course this is where I'm going to be very Comcast centric, but we have a website, xfinity.com/ACP. Best place to learn about the program, about if someone is eligible to apply, how to apply. There's a lot of information on the website. The other great way to learn is to just stop into one of our stores. Our Xfinity stores are throughout the community, and our teams within the stores know about the program. They're excited to talk about it and help people actually complete that sign up process. So that's just another great way for people to learn more. And then when it comes to actually signing up, I mentioned it earlier, we've continued to see improvements in this process, but there are a couple of steps. So the first step is to make sure there's an eligibility verification through the federal website. And so that then provides the information needed to apply the credit to service with any provider. So sort of 2-step process, going through the FCC website for verification, and then the family will get a number. They utilize that number then to apply to the service wherever they go to get. So sign up for Internet Essentials, apply that number, the benefit gets applied automatically on a monthly basis, and then the service just continues for as long as they need it.
Wow,
That's
great.
Terrific.
And how great that you could get an actual person to help you do that.
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't know how many of you have been in one of those situations where you've been on the phone, like trying to speak with an agent, with an agent. Speak with an agent, and I haven't had that experience with Comcast. You have very good customer service, but I love that people could just get in with an individual person at one of the stores and get that support, because I think that makes a huge difference. So
We recognize it. It kind of goes back to the same philosophy around navigators. So,
Yeah.
someone who can just help guide through. I'll mention too, though, that we work with a lot of nonprofit organizations that are trying to help families in the exact same way, access resources that are available. So they're also super helpful. So if someone is wanting to learn more or wants to get signed up and they are part of a, receiving services from a nonprofit organization, it's very likely that nonprofit could also provide some help. The hands-on, but that personal relationship goes a long way. So we know that can be extremely helpful for people all ages. Marty, we know that it's not just
I know.
for everybody.
But not growing up with this. I mean, you talk about not having cell phones when you were growing up. I had a party line. My landline in my family's home was a party line, and to call my friends, I had to wait until the woman who lived behind us got off the phone, and we could listen into each other's calls. I mean, just think about that. So
right.
I'm a dinosaur.
Amazing.
I tell you, I own it. But I'm doing okay. I'm here, right?
You're doing great.
You're online, you're live. So
you're doing great.
This was so great. Thank you so much, Stacey. Stacey Nelson-Kumar, as we mentioned, who is the Director of Community Impact for Comcast Twin Cities. And we will have some links and some information on the Mom Enough website as well. Coming soon, probably later today or first thing tomorrow. So you'll be able to get links to these different sites and programs. And we'll also have some links within this video. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for joining us, Stacey. And we hope you'll tune in to the next Mom Enough Live.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stacey.